Hello, John aka Chicken Fillets here, and I'm not looking forward to the comments on this one, because today we're going to look at 5 JRPGs that I have dropped. Now, not saying that these games are bad, they've just been dropped by me because of various reasons, which you'll find out in the video. So, before we get cracking on, if you like JRPGs, finding out why I dropped a game, and like hearing a wee Scottish guy talk about it, well, please consider subscribing to the channel. Now, please be nice in the comments, because at the end of the day, some of these games could be your absolute favourite, but I've at least told you the reasoning behind it. On we go, I suppose.
Granblue Fantasy Relink, developed and published by Cygames and released on the 1st of February 2024. It's available for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 and on PC. Now, a grand adventure in the skies await. Form a party of 4 from a diverse roster of Skyfarers and slash or shoot or hex your way to victory against treacherous foes in this action JRPG. Now, this action JRPG is utterly gorgeous with its breathtaking cel-shaded graphics. Its action-based combat is a lot of fun as well. But the real question here is, well, why is this a JRPG that I dropped? Now, for full clarity with this one, I got this just before Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So yeah, there's a slight reasoning for that as well. But let's talk about the game in general. Now, realistically, the gameplay loop I didn't really enjoy, because when you start the game, it throws you in the thick of it. I thought, brilliant, this is so good. Then it got to a point where you get to the hub world, and then you go on a mission, then you're back at the hub world, then you go on a mission. It's like, this is not what I expected. I also found that when I was on these missions, when you got to the boss battles, it just felt like these enemies were just sponges to damage, and it just really felt I was getting nowhere. I remember streaming on YouTube whilst playing this game, and it felt like I was fighting one boss for like half an hour, and that was just starting to really drag. You start to learn their patterns, etc., and it was like, okay, rinse and repeat. I think another point here is that I was playing this on PlayStation 5. Now, if you know me well, then you know that I'm predominantly a handheld gamer. So what could benefit me if I revisit this is actually picking it up for the Steam Deck, because then I could play it portably. That might work. There may still be some luck here for me and Granblue Fantasy Relink. Visions of Mana, the action JRPG from Square Enix, which was released on PlayStation 4 and 5, PC and Xbox Series X and S, and this was released back in August 29th, 2024. Now, in Visions of Mana, we follow our protagonist Val, who travels with their companions to renew the flow of mana in the world through sacrifice. Now, this sports a action-based combat system, and you'll be able to learn different jobs, meaning that you'll have different combat skills. And this game is utterly gorgeous, bright and colourful. Now, I want to give some full clarity here that I received Visions of Mana from Square Enix via a review code. But the question you'll have here is, well, why did you drop it? And I'll tell you why. Because the game itself is fantastic, it plays nicely. But I was playing this on a Steam Deck, and I was having so many issues keeping the frame rate stable. The performance that I was facing on the Steam Deck was really making this game unenjoyable. There was moments in combat where the frame rate would just tank to about 15 FPS. And if you're playing an action game, that really takes you out of the moment. So my thought process with this is drop the game, move on to something else, and wait until the game gets patched. And I also wanted to keep an eye on various other content creators and websites So I can see what settings that they used in their Steam OS, etc., and to see what I was possibly doing wrong with my settings, because more than likely it was probably just down to me. But listen, Visions of Mana, I am actually looking forward to getting back to, and I really want to review it on this channel. If you have played this on a Steam Deck, well, what were your thoughts about it? Did you face these same issues? Let me know in the comments down below. Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, which was developed by Rabbit and Bear Studios, published by 505 Games, and released on the 23rd of April 2024. Now this was released on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch and PC. Now with Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes is designed to bring players a modern take on a classic JRPG experience. Get ready to lead 100 plus playable characters through a war-torn world only you can save. Now, if you are unaware that this is a spiritual successor to the Suikoden series, actually having original developers create their own studio to develop this game. It has a 2.5 HD style graphics and it has turn-based combat. So why is this a JRPG that I dropped? Now, to be honest with you, this one really stung because I was really hyped up for this game. But what made me drop this, and full transparency, I sold my copy pretty quickly, was that I went for the Nintendo Switch version. And I have never experienced a game which has been plagued by so many bugs. I want to give you an example of what I came across when playing this. Now, if you play any sort of JRPG, you'll know that menu screens are the norm for this sort of game. However, when you hit the menu button on your controller, it shouldn't take about 2 to 5 seconds for said menu screen to appear. The menu screen took ages to go from section to section. When you were on the world map and going into battles, it took a long time for battles to start. I was also finding that on the Nintendo Switch screen, my eyes were really struggling with this. I don't know what it is about the graphical style which is used, because I've played the likes of Live Alive, Octopath Traveler, and my eyes were completely fine with this. FYI, when I'm not on screen, I do actually wear glasses when playing my games. So that really put me off. However, I really think that if I pick this up on the Steam Deck, I will be able to have a better time with this. I'm hoping that the performance of Eiyuden Chronicles is a lot better, which would match the likes of the PlayStation and Xbox versions. I are yet to do a bit of research. It is on my wish list, so let me know if Eiyuden Chronicle on the likes of playing it on Steam Deck is any good. If you have, let me know in the comments down below. Honestly, I've never got rid of a game so quick. I was just so angry and disappointed at the same time.
Ah yes, you're still here. Thank you. Please consider subscribing, please.
Xenogears, developed and published by Squaresoft, which was originally released on PlayStation back in 1998. Now in Xenogears, we follow our protagonist Faye in this epic sci-fi adventure, with some JRPG players calling this one of the best JRPGs ever made. It sports turn-based combat and there is mech battles as well. Now this is the one entry I'm actually dreading talking about, because Xenogears has got a massive influence on JRPG players. Now, for clarity, this game was not released in the PAL region, which I am from, so I have not played this game until recently. This has not been my first attempt to play Xenogears. I have this on a PSP ROM, And I've also been playing this on the Steam Deck via emulation. Now, unfortunately, this game is really not connecting with me for various reasons. Now, I think really what is throwing me off the most is the control scheme with this game. Now, bear in mind, right, I have no nostalgia for this game because it wasn't released when I was growing up. I'll give you an example. Final Fantasy VII I grew up with, and a lot of people who did not grow up with that game don't enjoy Final Fantasy VII because of the way it looked, for example. So with this, I am really struggling with the control scheme. The platforming sections on this game is frustrating. The use of the camera is so annoying. What I was playing of the story thus far was actually really good, but there was points as well where I was getting lost and confused where I was going, etc. And I had to actually go and check out guides of what I had to do next to get the next part of the story rolling. I totally and unequivocally understand why people love Xenogears, and I'm really annoyed that I am not in that same boat. Xenogears is amazing in some aspects, but so frustrating in other areas. Now, what I'm looking to get past with this is I'm hoping for either one, an official remake or remastering, the likes of Gem Drop Studios who made Star Ocean Second Story R would be a fantastic studio to pick this one up, or, and probably the more likely route, is to look at the mods available. Now, I have seen the likes of the Xenogears Perfect Works mod. I think that's how it is. But yeah, man, I mean, I really want to enjoy this one. Here's hoping that I do, because honestly, I understand why people love this title. Chrono Trigger, the fan favourite JRPG, which was developed and published by Square Enix all the way back in March 11th, 1995. It was originally released on the SNES. It's had further ports to the likes of the PlayStation, Nintendo DS, and it's available on iPhone, Android, and on PC. Now in this, we follow our protagonist Chrono in a time-travelling adventure to save the world. The JRPG, which was made by the Dream Team aka Hironobu Sakaguchi, Akira Toriyama, and the likes of Nobuo Uematsu, also features turn-based combat, which was highly influential to many JRPGs. And like the previous entry, I'm dreading talking about this one. Now, similar to the likes of Xenogears, this did not release in the PAL region originally. It was until we got the Nintendo DS version that we were able to play Chrono Trigger in the UK. But for the likes of myself, this year was the year that I finally played Chrono Trigger via Steam Deck. So, you want to know why I dropped Chrono Trigger? Now, let's be quite honest. Chrono Trigger is one of the most inspirational JRPGs out there. It has inspired so many different games, the likes of an upcoming game that I am really looking forward to, the likes of Threads of Time, Sea of Stars, which released in 2023. You can see that wearing Chrono Trigger's influence on its sleeve. So the reason I dropped this, and this is kind of daft when looking back on it, but I had to refer to so many guides to see what I was doing next. For me, it wasn't really clear on what I had to do, and if I skipped dialogue, for example, by mistake, I missed some key information. Yeah, I was struggling. Now, it gets to a certain point within the story where there is a character which you can go to who will tell you, give you hints of where you should be going next, etc. And by that point, I was getting kind of burnt out with it. I don't know what it is. I just was like, the game just didn't grab me to play it. Another fact is that being a JRPG content creator, Chrono Trigger is brought up quite a lot within the community, being, you know, some of the best games that you can ever play. So I was jumping on this hype which had been handed to me. and I just wasn't seeing it. I've had this sort of same scenario with the likes of Super Mario RPG, where I was disappointed by that title as well. It's been built up as this amazing game, and Chrono Trigger itself is a good game. It's just not grabbed me as much as I thought it was going to. My general plan is to get back into this one. I have to complete Chrono Trigger at some point, because I can't really call myself a JRPG channel if I've not even completed, you know, one of the most beloved JRPGs out there. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. And this has been a video which I've kind of put myself off of doing, but hey ho. What were your thoughts on Chrono Trigger? Yeah, okay. Anyway, those were 5 JRPGs that I dropped. How silly am I? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, if you like what you're hearing and seeing on this channel, and I don't blame you for not following this time, please help me grow the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing. And if you want to be kept up to date with everything Chicken Fillets, please hit that notification bell. This has been John, aka Chicken Fillets, and until next time, tatty bye. Oh man.